Hello, 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 and welcome to today's episode of Her Version. This podcast is dedicated to sharing stories of struggle and triumph, a platform that allows individuals to tell their truth in order to inspire and uplift others. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, follow, like, and share. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria. Let's jump right in. Hello, and thank you for joining us today for this episode of Her Version. For those of you already jumping on live, thank you so much for being here and hanging out with Sheila and I today. If you could share this video wherever you are watching us at so we can get more eyes and ears on our content, we would so appreciate that. This is the Her Version platform. It is built on storytelling and the understanding that many times our greatest learning experiences come from listening to other people's stories. Today, I'm speaking with an amazing woman named Sheila Vaske. Sheila is a two-time published and best-selling author, designer, creative, and entrepreneur. She is the former CEO of Vienza, the inspirational brand of jewelry and accessories. Sheila is the mother of two daughters. Most would describe her as creative, intuitive, and passionate. Ms. Vaske is considered to be a healer, an empath. Through the power of the mind and soul, these qualities have driven her to rise above during the most difficult times of her life's journey. Welcome, lady. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for having me, Sabrina. I couldn't not wait to chat with you. So
yes. Yes, 100%. I love, first of all, love it when women like yourself who just understand the importance of sharing your story, sharing your past experiences, giving some insight, some value to other women out there who are just struggling just a little bit. They just need like a little bit of insight on how to do life just a little bit better because they're kind of stuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kind of stuck. And
absolutely.
I'm sure you've been there.
I'm sorry.
I said, I'm sure you've been there. I know I have.
Oh yeah, been there, done that. Like, I don't know. I feel like I've lived 4 lifetimes in my one. So I don't know. Which story do you want to go with?
I know.
That's what they're meant to be though, right? So
yes, 100. We just found out, for those of you listening live, that we both live in Florida. Didn't even know that. So Sheila's on the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast. Also found out that we were supposed to be on opposite coasts because I'm from the Midwest and she is from the East. So that was kind of funny before we jumped on. But listen, Sheila, I'm super excited to, first of all, hear all the things that you have going on right now in your life, all the goodness that you're sharing with humankind, but then also to really get a glimpse of your past and maybe some of the struggles and some of the darkness that you've been in your life, and how you use that stuff to kind of overcome and step into who you are today. So I would love for you to share a story. We love storytelling on this podcast. And I would love it if you could share with us maybe some past experiences or some challenges that you've gone through and the pivot that you had to do in order to really step into the person that you are today.
Gosh, there are so many. I don't even know where to begin. It started when I was younger at like the age of 11 to 14. And then as a teenager, being a free spirit, there's been so many. I'm like, which one do we pick? I would say the life-changing moment though, for me, which is what I tend to talk about the most so that people understand how maybe this process started for me, was that when I was 11 years old, I was diagnosed with a really rare skin disease called scleroderma. Long story short, they were like, you have 5 years to live and what have you. So make a very long story short, at 14, I was in my health. There was a freshman in high school and my health teacher, and I always tell this because it's so impactful. And he said, what you give power to has power over you. And he talked about the power of the mind. And it was that day that my life truly, I still have the goosebumps. It was that day that everything just transformed for me. And I decided no one's in charge of my timeline, and no one can predict anything. And if the mind is so powerful, we can do anything, right? So I actually reversed most of the symptoms, and I turned 50 this year. So I have overcome death a few times, actually, but that was the life-changing moment for me. Yeah. That's what.
At 4, did you say at 14?
Yeah. Yeah.
That is so amazing that at 14 you could conceptualize what that even meant. I feel like at 14, I don't think I would have been like cognitively ready to even comprehend what that even really meant. So like, how did you conceptualize that at such a young age?
No one's ever asked me that. So that's pretty cool. Honestly, I really don't know. I would say that I would always define myself as kind of a loner and different. I was always like, if everybody's going right, I want to know what's on the left. You know, that kind of person. So everything was always a question to me. So I just found it very fascinating when he talked about it. And it's sort of when my spiritual journey began, but then it's so evolved over my lifetime. But I don't know. I just found it very fascinating. And I'm like, well, the power of the mind. So I literally went home that day. I told my parents and family, we don't discuss this disease anymore. No more doctors. I was a case study at Boston Children's. I'm like, we're done. No more anything. We're not talking about it. It doesn't exist. It's gone. And honestly, within 6 months, I had no function of my hand or my arm. And as a freshman in high school, everyone's like, every day was like, were you burned in a fire? What's wrong with your arm? You know? And I was told I had to be left-handed. And I'm just like, no, this is bullshit. I'm not doing that. So we're done. We're not talking about it. Actually, it wasn't even until like my late 20s or 30s where I had a little bit of an episode. And I would not put it down on doctor's paperwork. And and then when I wasn't doing well, they're like, is there anything else? And I'm like, oh yeah, I have scleroderma. I forgot. Yeah. So it like literally was blocked from my mind, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Wow. How freaking cool to be able to see that transition in such a short amount of time at such a young age.
Yeah.
That is
6 months I
phenomenal.
was working out at the gym, and, you know, now everyone's like, oh man, you work out? And I'm like, yeah, you know.
Yeah, your
So,
arms look great for sure. So when was the next turning point? What did you do next? Did you read a book? Did you follow a mentor? Were you yoga? Like, what was the next steps as far as your personal healing growth journey?
No, I did none of those things. Actually, I was horrible in school. I kind of found out later on in life that I'm a little dyslexic and OCD and AD, whatever you want, all those things. I'm all those D's, right? But so even writing the book when I was done, I'm like, holy shit, I wrote a book. How did I even do that? Because I can't even read one. But anyway, I can listen. But no, it was just I don't know. I just can't really describe it. More of just like I feel like I'm always just getting a divine guidance on where I need to go and what I need to do. And it's gotten much stronger over the years, of course. And my decisions and mistakes have certainly taught me some really good lessons, because I was a very free spirit as you know, a young adult. But I have no regret on any of that. I just was just like impulsive. Like, oh, I'm just going to move here, and I'm going to move there. And I moved 31 times in my life so far. So,
no kidding.
But I would say the other biggest, I mean, there's many, but I would say the other obstacle, honestly, was actually even just writing this book, because I thought I buried a lot of stuff and it was gone. Like, I thought, like, I'm good, I'm healed, I'm so good. And when I was writing it, actually brought back a lot of emotions that I was like, okay, time for therapy. And then I'm like, I'm a fraud. I can't put out this book if I've got issues. So anyway, it's always going to be an issue, right? And we're always healing and we're always growing. So I'm still working on being my best self. So
Yeah.
That's a daily effort.
Yeah. I agree. And I love that you're saying that as far as, because I think so many women get caught up in that. And I'm not absolutely perfect. Therefore, I can't teach anybody anything. And right there, what you said, it's like, you're always going to be on a healing journey. So, what do you know that other people don't know? I mean, there's so much that so many of us know that other people don't know, and build upon that. I think it's great.
Yeah, it is.
think-
We should never stop trying, obviously. And even after, like, just honestly, I swear to God, like a week ago, had my next epiphany of where is this coming from, and had to deal with the part I really buried, really, really buried, and discover and go through that hell to heal that part too. So it's never ending. We're always, and that's, you're never going to be a master. You just got to be consistent on being self-reflectant upon everything, I think. And I think we all tend, especially in today's society, I feel like we put too much pressure on ourselves to be so perfect and live in these beautiful things. Just everything's a filter to me right now. So it's like an illusion. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's get to reality.
Yes, yes. What do you think are, or what were some of the biggest limiting beliefs that you kind of had to toss in the trash or throw in the washing machine to really step into the power that you have now?
That's a big one. Well, one was I was not worthy of having money because I felt that having money made me evil. So that was a very, very, very big thing for me. I self-sabotaged, I think, every successful thing I had, honestly. So that was a very limiting belief that I had for a very long time. I would reach that and then I would lose it. So I've had to build back up many times. And the other one really that I'm just kind of coming into right now is that I'm not worthy to use my voice, to be who I really want to be. So like I said, I was kind of that loner, and I just always kind of sat back and watched and observed everything. And I just felt like I never wanted other people to feel uncomfortable. So I never, I always kind of took the back seat. And I don't know. Now I'm just like, fuck it, let's just go. I'm using my voice. I'm using me. I'm me. And I love me right now. So I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. Where did you come to that realization? Where were you in your life? Did this just happen yesterday or 10 years ago? Or when did you step into your voice?
Well, actually, when I had the jewelry company, which, oh gosh, that was gone in 2020 with COVID. And I had that company for 9 years. And for most of it, I did not want anyone to know who I didn't want any pictures of me. I did not want to be I did not want to be the face of that brand. So I hid behind the brand. And I remember maybe it was about 5 or 6 years ago where I did my first photo shoot, because everybody kept saying, you are the brand. And I'm like, oh my God. They're like, you got to do videos. I can't. I was shaking and trying to be in a camera, and I was super, super uncomfortable and awkward, and I hated it. And so that was really, I feel like, when I got the push to go, get out there, just do it. And it's still awkward today, but it's not as hard as it used to be.
Yeah. What was the reservation? What was the excuses that you used as far as not wanting to be the face of your brand?
Judgment. I didn't want people to judge. Yeah.
Wow. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Where did your limiting belief around money come from?
Can I go there?
Yes, because so many women deal with this.
Well, I just feel like my mom was from Italy. She grew up in Italy. She came here as an immigrant, and very old school Italian. And I was raised to, you got to cook, you got to clean, take care of the family, the kids. and we were very Catholic. And, you know, money is the root of all evil. That's all you were ever told. Only men make money, and, you know, roots, it's just not good. And I'm like, you know, I got married at 21 for the first time. I've been married a couple times, but married at 21 the first time. And because I thought I had to get married, have it, you know, do all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't really want to be a homemaker. I want to work. I want to own so I ended up, you know, owning a restaurant in my 20s, but it's just crazy how, like, I was supposed to be this model, but I'm not. I don't fit in that mold. And honestly, I feel like the religion really instilled that in me.
Yes.
Yeah.
How did you step out of that? Like, what did you do specifically to step out of that? Figure that out, to throw that in the trash? Was it overnight?
No, it was a process. I wasn't feeling good going to church anymore. It was like only if there was a really great priest, and I moved so much. So it was kind of like, I'll try this church. It was when I think I started, probably about 16 years ago, when I started to meditate and journal. And that was when I actually connected with God directly, and didn't really feel like I needed a building to create that. And to this day, I spend 1 to 2 hours with God every morning. So I don't need a building and rules that tell me what I can do. I feel like letting go of that for me was just, it brought me very, very much closer to the divine, and my angels, my God, they're all around me. They're everywhere. And I'm embracing that. And it's funny because I know, again, I'm always afraid of the judgment. But I think everybody should do what feels good for them. Yeah. And it didn't feel good for me. So I have such a deep connection and closeness that I don't need anything else. I'm super connected.
Yeah. When you think about your life and the ups and downs that you've been through, what would you say are the few steps that you take in order to go from a challenge or a struggle or a darkness and then work your way through into the light of happiness? What do you do mentally, emotionally, physically to work through that process? Because we all have issues. We all have struggles.
Everyone does.
So what do you specifically do?
Well, like I said, it's honestly that time I take every day to pray. I can't really say it's meditation because I don't sit and meditate because I ADD can't handle that. But it's like, for example, there are moments and times where, like, right now I'm not running anymore for, you know, whatever, I can't right now. So, but running was my meditation, and I would run and just listen to just beautiful music or inspirational stories or whatever it was. And I would receive these downloads that were like chilling, where I'd have to stop and type everything in my phone, and like ideas and all these things that would come to me. And then when I can't run, I would journal. So I journal every single day. I believe that's where the magic lies. And if I could encourage anything, just grab a notebook or whatever, but journal. It's when you just spew your thoughts, and you have to be willing to be vulnerable and admit your faults and self-reflect. Because if you're just going to keep saying, I don't do that, I don't do this, I'm perfect to everybody else, then you lose, right? So, all right, so if I've got some issues and things aren't going well, is it everybody else or is it me? And that's when you really have to take so here's my thing. When it gets really bad, I go into like what I call a hermit mode, where it's like I need self-isolation, and I just need to get really one with my thoughts and figure out what the hell's going on. And then I'd be like, well, you know, I could improve that. Where is that coming from? Okay. And you have to admit it, because you'll never change it if you can't admit it, right? So that's what I do. And I think that comes to me a lot in journaling. But then, honestly, like I said, it keeps growing. That 15-minute routine churns into now, like, it's 1 to 2 hours every morning that I take. But I get so many messages, so I have to like take them, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. When you're saying admitting that the work needs to be done, yourself. And when I think of so many individuals who do need to do work, but are in this process of blame or
Mm.
victimhood, or it's everybody else's fault. In your opinion, what is the danger in staying in this victimhood mindset?
Very dangerous, actually. You're going to end up shutting out the world on you because people eventually, as people grow, they typically evolve. And, we're actually facing that in our society with our youth today, where it's like parents want to come in and save the day for everything. No, Johnny needs to not get a trophy if he didn't place. Okay. It's like, it's over. This stuff needs to stop. That's one. The whole, like, you're not entitled to anything. You earn things.
Yeah.
And no one's entitled to like you if you're not nice or you're not doing things to change. So if you're not going to change and people are removing themselves from you, you're going to end up pretty lonely. And you can't play victim forever. You can't blame everybody else forever. At some point, you have to go within and say, okay, maybe there's some things that need some fixing.
Yeah.
You can blame. I mean, we are victims. We're all victims of something. But are you going to stay in that state of victim mentality forever, or are you going to heal from it and pull up your panties and keep going? Like, you got to go at some point.
Yeah. What is the premise of Powerful Mind, Powerful Soul?
Well, like basically that health teacher did for me, which was to teach how powerful your mind is. And the things that we think in our heads every day and how we talk to ourselves, how we talk to others, how we process what's going on in life. Honestly, the book is so easy and it's stuff we all know, but are we practicing it? And I think it's something the world, in my opinion, is craving today. And I'm tired of left, right, this, that. I'm tired of it. We are human beings at the end of the day. And I truly feel that God put me through hell for a long time to preach this and teach this, because we're either going to go one way or another. And I choose good. And I just want to help others, especially our youth and our younger generation. They really are my passion. And I feel like they're lost. They're lost in technology. We're lost in technology. If I could just say unplug today, I would do it. I really would. I miss the old days. And I just feel like, the world's craving peace and love. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters but how we are treating one another. That's just basically it. That's it. It's love. We're all craving love.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's so many individuals that have this mindset or this limiting belief possibly of people don't change. You can't change people.
No, you can't
But
change.
then we see individuals like you who are saying, hey, maybe we can. Maybe we can reprogram you.
Well, you can if you want to.
What does that mean?
I mean, the tools are there. Do you want to change? Do you want to grow? You can't change anybody. You can only change yourself. But I created the tools, and the tools are out there, not even mine, anyone's, right? But if one wants to change, one can. It's a desire. It's a decision.
Yeah. What would you say to females who are struggling with their own identity as far as wanting to stay in this state of victimhood because it is who they are, and then knowing or feeling this cognitive dissonance of this is not who I am, but they're struggling with that?
Well, that's a fair question. I mean, I think we're all struggling with that. But at some point, that's your story. You know, those painful situations created who you can become today. No one reaches or evolves without going through some storm. So it changes us for sure. Trauma changes us. There's so many, you know, we've all got a story. I think it's just a matter of like, what is your story? Claim it, own it, evolve from it, because everyone's got one. Some are worse than others, you know, but we're not playing the who's got it worse game. It's just a matter of what is yours. And everyone, I believe everyone has a gift. I believe everyone has a talent. Believe everyone has a dream and a desire. And even if that is, I was a stay-at-home mom for a long time. And then I was like, oh my gosh, like I need to do something. I was going crazy, and that's okay. And maybe you love to be a stay-at-home mom and you don't want to work. I just think leave the judgments out. Just what does it feel right for you? And, you know, claim your story, learn from your story, evolve from your story. You can't stay in victimhood forever. You won't find peace there. There's no peace.
Yeah. How comfortable were you in your times of pivoting? Have those always been fairly easy for you to pivot from one to another? Or was there some any sort of anxiety or second thoughts on pivoting from one? You moved a few times, you've changed careers a few times. How does that sit with you?
Yeah. And again, I don't know if that was part of the healing process for me, to be quite honest, because I was one in the beginning where it's like, okay, I don't like it here anymore. I'm moving somewhere else. Okay, I don't like it. Well, at some point you have to face where you're living and make it work. You can't just keep running. Well, you can. I did. And I do have some pretty cool stories because of it. But I don't know, some people feel like I got to stay here forever and I got to do this forever. And you don't. We grow. And as we grow, I mean, are you the same? I'm not the same. I was different each 10 years, I would say, or 5 years. I've like totally revamped on who I am. Yeah. And I don't know if it's a Gemini trait or whatever trait I have, but I've always just been searching for this purpose and this passion, purpose and passion. And I think I finally found my purpose, and I think I finally found my passion.
Yes. What a good place to be.
Yeah, I really cool. Do I get 20 more years now? Because I really think I found it.
Oh, that's so exciting. Thanks. I feel like that is, you know, one of the biggest reasons why people fall into anxiety or depression is just this whole, like, they're staying complacent for years and years, and there's no evolving.
Mm-hmm. And that's why that self-reflection is so important, because there's something old calling in every one of our souls. Our soul, our minds, right, consume our soul, and our soul consumes our minds. And when you are good in your mind, you vibrate at a much larger capacity. When your vibration is very high, you can't be around low frequency people. Okay. When you vibrate really high, like I talk about in one of the chapters, you wake up in a really great mood. What happens that day? Everything goes great for you. Your sale comes through, your podcast is great, whatever it might be. And everything just seems to flow. And you're like, wow, what a great day that was. But life would be so boring if every day was great. How do we know it's great? Yeah. Right? So when you wake up in a bad mood, how does that day go for you? You spill your coffee on your pants. You're caught at every red light. Like, it's just like, it sucks. So it's your energy that you're radiating. And it's funny because my kids, I forget, like 5 or 6 years ago when they couldn't drive, I was having a bad day. And they're like, Mom, I think you need to check your energy. I'm like, who taught you that? It's not me, it's them.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, my kids call me out all the time.
That is fantastic. Yeah. What a great place to be. I think one of the biggest loves that I have as far as falling into personal development is my son.
Right.
Just knowing that, like, I'm so glad that he got this version of me.
Yeah. And you've had some hell of a stories too, because I've read up on you and I've watched a lot of your videos too. You're an amazing woman. I couldn't wait to talk to you today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I love what you're doing and I love what you're sharing. And that comes back tenfold. And the impression you're making upon your son to do what you're doing is so powerful,
Yeah.
And I think the woman that'll end up with him will be so lucky.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. And that's, part of this podcast, her version is highlighting females like you who are really stepping into this and who are really striving to educate other people on this whole different way of being, of thinking, of doing.
Yeah. I believe we're meant for we all have a purpose. What is your purpose and what is your passion? You can do both.
Yeah. How does somebody find their purpose? Like, how do you even go about
Purpose is something I feel like you feel like a calling, it's funny. I've been connecting with some amazing people lately and random ones will be like, let's set a call. And we do. And I'm like, and it's like completely amazing. And intuitively I can feel what they're doing. And I just had a call yesterday with somebody who was really great. And I don't know. And we ended up coming up with a plan on how to have both. And I'm like, I've never even met this person a day in my life. It's just so weird, but it's cool when that happens, because when you are in that place and you are thinking about that, the universe sort of serves it to you. It's like, here you go. Here's a little seed. Here's a little person. Here's a little push. It shows up when you're in that place mentally. The soul, the mind, it comes to you. Yeah. You start to see signs and you're like, oh, that's weird. Oh, how did that happen? It just comes to you when you're there and you'll feel it. You'll know.
Yeah. I feel like it could sound so much like woo-woo. Just hearing that, if you're not in that mindset,
in the spiritual realm kind of thing.
Really, yeah.
I think a lot of people block it out. Maybe they were afraid of certain things, or their religion holds them back from certain things. But that's why I say, whatever you want to call it, whether you want to call it God, universe, whatever it feels comfortable for you, there's no judgment, right? But there's something. You got to believe there's something, whether it's a star that burst, it's something, right? And why are we here? What are we doing here? We just exist, or are we supposed to do something? So I don't really call it woo-woo. It's just kind of like take the fear away and embrace it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And it's so simple, and it
is.
Literally is just as easy as just diving into a book, a video, a program, a curriculum. What is it that you offer? I see that you have the book, and then you have a few other things. What else is involved in the program that you kind of work with your community?
Sure. Well, I just launched this right before Christmas. So I started off with the book, but then when I was writing the book, I was like, this isn't enough. They're going to read this, be excited for a day or two, put it on a shelf, and go right back to their patterns. So how do you hold them accountable? So then I created the journal. Then I'm like, the journal's not enough, even though that's where I believe the magic lies.
Okay.
So then I'm like, okay, well, how can we get them to journal every day? And I created a deck of cards. So you can pull a card every day and the journal prompts you. And I made this to cover every excuse in the world, because I know what everybody's going to say. I don't write, I don't journal, I don't have time. I covered all the excuses. It prompts you on everything. If you did the entire process, it's about 15 minutes. But when your life starts to change, you're probably going to get a little addicted and you're going to want to do it more, because you see the results. It's consistency. And you can't just read the book and put it on the shelf, but not change your habits.
Yeah.
Right. And we are creatures of habit. So it takes a lot of practice to push yourself a little bit further. It's like, I want to go to the gym. And January 1st, I'm going to the gym. I'm going to the gym. I'm going to lose, and then what? The next week, the gym's empty, right? Because everybody had this ambitious goal, and maybe they missed a day and they don't want to go back because it's like, oh. And it's the same thing. Your mind. Actually, what I say is take your mind to the gym every day, and you will see a major transformation in your life if you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So 15 minutes.
All right. So here's a challenge I'll put out there to anybody. All right.
Okay.
Here's what I've been telling people when they're like questioning me on it. I'm like, all right, just do this.
Okay.
Commit to 11 days. 11.
Okay.
Just 11 days. There's 11 chapters. Each chapter is probably 5 minutes to 7 minutes to read. Super easy.
Okay.
And then follow the prompts on the journal and do the journal. The whole thing you could do sitting on your toilet if you want to in 15 minutes. Okay. It's so easy. Let me know how day 11 goes, how day 12 goes.
Wow.
I will tell you, I've had some people writing in, 3 people got a new job, 1 found love. So that's 11 days. Mm-hmm. It's really just becoming one with yourself, really realizing who you are, what is really bothering you, what do we need to address. And they're very simple questions and very simple, and it's very simple. I made this so a 12-year-old can read it and a 100-year-old can read it. It's for any gender, anybody. It's for everybody. Yeah.
That is fantastic. All inclusive.
All inclusive. Yeah.
Yes. Just the way we like it.
Yeah.
For those of us, well, first of all, quick shout out to those watching live. Thank you so much for being here, for hanging out with Sheila and I while she speaks about her journey and some of the little nuggets of information, of value that she is presenting today. And for those of you watching on the replay, if you could hashtag replay wherever you are, we would so appreciate it. If you'd share the video wherever you're watching us at, so we can get more eyes and ears on this content, we would also appreciate that. But for those that are resonating with all the goodness that you're sharing and they're curious about you and everything that you're talking about. Now, obviously, we have your website right above your head, Powerfulmind, powerfulsoul.com. But where are you on social media? Where can people find you? Where do you hang out?
It's a good question. Right now, you can get everything on, the website. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, all under Powerful Mind, Powerful Soul. And anywhere else, YouTube, I'm sort of starting. I'm waiting to upload some of that stuff. But in about 3 weeks or so, you should be able to get everything but the cards. You should be able to get the book and the journal on Amazon, barnesandnobles.com, all of that. It should be on all platforms available online. The hardcover, the soft cover, the journal should be available in about probably 3 weeks. Yeah. Awesome. But right now, just the website, and the cards are only available on the website.
Awesome. What are your big dreams for your business?
Well, honestly, this is my purpose. So my passion is actually design. So I do have another company I want to start. But right now I'm focusing on this because this was the calling. And my dream for this is that it just goes everywhere and people heal and the world will be kinder and a lot more loving and peaceful. That's what I'm hoping. I think that, like I said, I feel like the world's craving change, craving love, craving something that means something. And I think this is the time. So that's what I'm hoping, just to make the world a little bit of a better place.
Yes. And why do you do what you do?
Because I feel like I was chosen to do it.
Yeah. Sweet and simple.
Yeah, that's it. I'm chosen.
I love it. Well, I thank you so much, Sheila, for all the goodness that you shared today. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, for sharing with us. For those of you watching, For those of you watching live, thank you. Any closing thoughts as we wrap up?
No, I hope that anyone that does watch this will just, like I said, it doesn't even have to be my thing. Just get a notebook and start writing your feelings, but just start. I just want this to be a happier place to live right now. I want more peace here. And I feel like I was prepared for this to share it. And I don't know, I just love everybody. I love you, and I couldn't wait to talk to you. And I really appreciate you. Thank you, and everybody. So thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Well, thank you so much, Sheila, and all the goodness that you're sharing with your community today. I know that Her Nation is thoroughly enjoying this and will enjoy this on the replay. If you resonated with Sheila and all the goodness that she shared, make sure you check her out at Powerfulmind, powerfulsoul.com, and throughout social media. We'd love to connect people here on this platform in order to continue to rise. Thank you so much for joining us here. This community is expanding every single day and is filled with females who are striving to do better than they did yesterday. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you follow and subscribe. If you want to share your story, reach out at hernation.life. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria. I am so honored to be here to share a platform that allows people to share their truth and inspire others. Until next time.